different from working at the retails where the games were distributed versus now working in the tech where now the games are being made?
Yeah. So the funny part is that so obviously retail is retail. Anyone who works with retails, you have the good and you have the bad. You have to deal with customers, and sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not. So it was also my first corporate job. So obviously I was, I think, 25. So to me, everything was really new. Like, oh, yeah, I think I had dyed hair at the time. So I was asking, my former manager at GameStop, actually, it's like, is it okay if I have like dyed hair? It wasn't like any obscure color, which is not my natural hair color. I was so worried that, somehow that would have been seen as a bad thing. And I know that in the US it can be sometimes, but in Sweden they're very, like, they don't really care. Like, you have tattoos, you want to have neon pink hair, no one's gonna really judge you for it. But to me, I was so scared that I was gonna have a bad impact for whatever reason. But it seems like I did a good job. They told me that we had like 300 applicants. It wasn't just my manager putting a good word. I obviously also have to present myself in a good way. So I would say 80% luck and 20% just, me doing a good interview. But it was very different because the company obviously was not super big. Over the years that I stayed there, I worked there for 8 years. They grew from like maybe 80 people to, I think, 600. To me, I could definitely see the change in how, I became more corporate, which is good and bad. To me, ultimately, that was why I left. And, I wasn't working too close with the games initially when I was mostly an assistant to the sales team. But I could definitely see, it was interesting to see, like, sort of like how the sausage is made from the other side. My company at the time was making more strategy games, which I'm still not very interested in. So to me, I was like, oh, just another game. I just don't understand it. But, you always have a stake in it and you want it to go well.
Yes.
I hope that answers your question.
Oh, yeah.